change the view to speak of, not speak, gallery view afterwards so that we can all see each other and I can see your faces. So, okay, Joy says that her camera's not working. Well, don't worry too much at this stage. So what I'm going to do is just start into the visibility gateway. So it's been a long-term dream of mine to have my own online program, and but life always kind of got in the way, and then lockdown happened and it became the perfect time and opportunity to actually put things into place. And the fact that I couldn't actually work in person or run my aura mediator courses or any of that in-person stuff. So I actually was able to put all the pieces together. And I often find that with people in our professions, is that we really want the end result and we really want to rush to it. But actually we have to go through loads of kind of rites of passages and adventures and initiations and hurdles and overcome a lot of personal suffering or strife or patterns and behaviors. We have to actually you don't have to be perfect to be a healer or a coach or anything like that, but the fact that you've been able to overcome certain aspects of your own story means that you can hold that torch for others. You can't drag them out of their stuff, but you can definitely hold the vibration of like, well, I've done this and been there, and people can pick that up and mirror from you. So what I found over time with visibility is that it has nothing to do with the amount of posts you make or the amount of marketing you do or the words that you say or how you look necessarily. It's actually not just going on video and hoping people might watch you even though you're terrified and then putting yourself under a load of pressure. It's not about a funnel or an amazing marketing plan. I mean, you could have the most expensive funnel and marketing plan and everything, and it still falls flat. So it's actually in our world, I'm going to say our world as in you're a healer, medicine person, spiritual entrepreneur, into the wellness industries. You could be, well, the last few rounds has been all sorts, from herbalists to chiropractors to EFT to mediums and shamans and all sorts. So that, that whole industry, if you want to call it that. For us, visibility is actually about an energetic transmission. It's about the alignment that you can bring through yourself, right from your spirit, your life purpose, your mission, your gifts, your messages, your frequencies that you're here to share. Admit someone. It's about being able to align that with your voice, your expression, your heart, your truth. And it's this complete alignment, but it doesn't just stop there. It actually has to land with the person that you're trying to speak to. So often a lot of people, the alignment might be there and you're really clear about what you want to do, but something's blocking it actually landing with the person. It's almost like your words just go like a few feet away from you and then just fall. So a lot of people are like, I'm doing everything right. I've got this marketing plan. I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm so excited, but it's like people aren't hearing me or I'm not seen. So yeah, that's just one scenario. I'm going to go through quite a few more. So for me, when I'm watching someone's video, I often watch them without the sound on, sometimes, just to start with. Well, most of us probably do when we're scrolling. And you see the transmission, and if you're energy sensitive, you can feel so much just from a glance. How quickly do we make judgments or an energetic appraisal of someone when we meet them. And that's what we're trying to work with when we want to be clear and have an impact on the kind of people we want to work with. There's the other mistake of trying to heal everybody and save everybody. So your message becomes very diluted and no one knows who you're actually talking to. So there's a lot of art and magic in being able to make your message or your work shine, be clear, be seen, really stand out from the crowd. So it's also, when we're in this work, and I don't mean to put anyone down or be harsh or anything like that, but if someone is so down on themselves somewhere, there's that self-worth, there's that I'm not good enough, what happens if I'm, what happens if they'll find me out, and I'm the imposter syndrome, all that kind of energy, you can really feel it and see it. So it's not that they'll look at you and go, that person doesn't like themselves. It's like they start feeling like, oh, there's like almost like little messages that are being transmitted. You might be talking about, finding your life purpose, but they're suddenly questioning and feeling maybe the underground or the subconscious, unconscious stuff that you're transmitting. So your message can get very garbled if you're not clear. So there's a lot of layers to visibility, certainly when we're in this energy and sensitive, heart-based world. And a lot of the work I do is to really peel back in a very sensitive, careful manner, peel back to the purity, innocence of the spirit, of the heart of the person, right back to this core, true self. So it's not, so that you can be as natural and comfortable and loving, that when you see yourself, because that's often the way with this, phone world, is that you're making a video on your phone and you're seeing your own face. And that is a brilliant mirror. It's also very strange for the body to be like, it's not a normal thing. It's not like something that was going on 100 years ago where you would do marketing by staring at your own face, talking. So there's a lot of like you confronting yourself, and it can be, I found it very strange at the start. I was like, wow, this is really uncomfortable. But if you can start loving that person that is talking back at you, like your own reflection in a sense, if you can feel the love and the energy and the innocence coming through yourself, then you're going to land with a lot more, your message will land with a lot more people, because they can't argue with your truth or your transmission, or there's a lot less likelihood of being criticized or picked at when you're writing or doing a post, if it's so clearly your truth, and the words have weight and they land in that person. And there's an art to it. It's not, it's taken me a long time to learn to write powerfully, or to have my words land in such a way that it alters people's energy or makes them wake up to certain ways of being and feeling about themselves. So I've put together like everything, pretty much years and years of work have gone into this visibility gateway. In experience, it's like a lot of the stuff I've learned from teaching, from one-to-ones, from different modalities, from traveling the world. It's all come here. Right, so let me just see because there's so many layers to this. I have to kind of keep to my notes, because otherwise I'll go all over the place. So the complexity of visibility, that was the original title of this talk, but I'm doing another talk on Monday. Is it Monday? Yeah, Monday the 21st, with Bright Sky Community. So if anyone's interested about this UK network of healers that's coming live, it has a really beautiful app, like Airbnb type app, but for healers. That's going live very soon. But if you want to bring it up, like maybe make a note, and I'll tell you a bit more about it at the end if you want to join that network. But I'm doing a talk with them similar to this, but so the energetics or complexity of visibility. So when I've worked with people over time, with the kinesiology work I do, the visibility thing became quite a thing. And I have absolutely loved, been fascinated by the complexity behind this visibility issue. If you'd think it'd be quite simple, like, oh yeah, I was bullied at school, or I was never heard and seen at home, very quite straightforward, logical, sort of rational answers to what the visibility thing is all about. And actually, it's none of the time, it's never just that. It might be important, obviously, and there's some work to do in letting the body know that particular bullying or being ridiculed or whatever is not happening anymore because the body kind of relives those memories. It goes much deeper than that. And it's often been incredibly, what would you say, like almost obscure reasons why the body is freaking out about becoming visible. You know, so one of the big exercises we do in the Visibility Gateway is to track how it would imagine public speaking or speaking to a small group, or imagine being on video, or imagine standing on stage, and actually take a minute to feel it. Actually, let's do that for a second. Imagine something challenging, not something you do all the time. Like if you talk to small groups, or like, you know, if you write posts, don't do that. But if it's video or public speaking or something that's kind of challenging, just close your eyes for a second and set the scene. You're walking into the room, you're putting your PowerPoint up, or you've got your phone ready to press play, and just take a second to feel what happens to you. You're going to start speaking about your work. What comes up for you? Feel in your body what's reacting. What's the fears? Can you name any? Is it they won't like me anymore, or oh, I might have to ask for money, or I don't really want my clients to show up? Or you can type into the chat if you want, or yeah, I think that might be the easiest if you had like a word or two about what came up for you. But from I draw this map at the beginning of each round of a body, and it's our group body of that particular group that have come together for the Visibility Gateway. And I'm not kidding, it's like there's 150 symptoms and body freakouts that are going on because of this being visible. The throat closes up, like mouth goes dry, the hands are all numb, I want to die, panic. Joyce says panic. And exactly, she said, Joyce says, I'm not sure why at the moment. Like, why would I be panicking about such a simple thing? And that's what I mean by it's often like you wouldn't imagine. PowerPoint failure, panic. So there's a panic, there's this, the nervous system is like going, run, run, this is no good, don't do it, forget about it, you're not good enough, you know, the whole thing. Sybil says it's about her English skills, not being able to understand, not using the right words. A lot of people, I've worked with a lot of Finnish people, and that is a huge thing for them. Not being able to be understood, heart racing, they think I'm dirty, evil, disgusting, panicked, locked up, killed, rejected. Exactly. And all you're actually wanting to do is help people and share your message that you're really passionate about, and that you've, you know, probably climbed a million mountains to get to where you are now. And then there's this huge like freeze, fear, collapse response that's happening in the body. And that's like, what is going on here? And okay, so what I've found, oh yeah, there's someone that wants to be a perfectionist, which is really hard work as well. And it's actually very mean to yourself because it's putting yourself under so much pressure. And a lot of the time when you're wanting to be perfect, you overscript, and then you don't allow magic and flow to interact with your audience, whether they are in a social media or in a room like this. If you have it too scripted, then you can't allow, you know, their energy, your energy to come and flow and bounce back. So like I have a list of words, but I don't know I haven't planned what I'm going to say exactly. And being perfect used to be a big issue for me, and now I've realized just do what you can now and build from that as you go on. Often you're thinking about the humongous big project at the end of the road and not getting any of the small steps that would take you there out. You know, you don't do it because you're like, I just want to do the big thing. And for me, the Visibility Gateway is one step towards my much bigger thing. There's a lot more cool stuff that's going to come soon, which I'll let you know at the end if I remember to. So what I've found when we start exploring this is we find many different scenarios, but like some, you know, the obvious ones like childhood, being ignored, sibling stories. Then there's like the deeper stuff, like the ancestral dimension of things. So you've picked up stuff in the bloodline, which also ties in with the history of our species. You know, the times when there was the Great Depression, or the times when the witches were burnt for their beliefs, or religious, you know, huge religious indoctrination that would not allow certain ways of thinking and being. We pick up these imprints when there's been like a constriction or an apocalyptic feeling, or like a kind of trauma, whether it was to your own vortex of your consciousness, like what makes you you in this life, like the elements of that. Something shocking big has happened somewhere along the line in our history, and that contraction or shock is recorded in the cells, in the energy field, in the subtle bodies, in the body itself, in the blood. It could be so many dimensions of where these particular things are stored for you. But what we find with the visibility thing is that we have a lot of things in common. You know, like if we have a fear of visibility, the people in the room, there'll be common threads that come together. But I'll explain how we do that with kinesiology in a bit. And then we've got, so it could be things like a curse on your family, you know, like someone, like a voodoo curse, or some, you know, I've had like quite a few of these come up. You know, like some angry medicine person has put a curse on so and so never to make money or to hold money, and that is somewhere in your field. And when you're about to try and make more money, the body goes no. I mean, it can be so unexpected, these things that we find out with the kinesiology. Then there's such things like someone that suffered abuse, but a long time ago, like down the generational line, and they've learned to stay small and like literally fall into the wall and be a wallflower, so that they're not seen and heard. So then for them to do that, they might get abused again if they're seen and heard. So this is like the language of the body. Doesn't necessarily make sense to our daily living life, but I'm sure that people here are understanding what I'm saying. Then another aspect could be our spiritual ancestry. So we're looking at the evolution of your consciousness and your spirit, and that kind of joins with your ancestral line. But it's like and I'm sure the people in this room may have past life memories, or memories of another time, or memories of other planets, you know, history before our known history, where the evolution of our species, of our consciousness, of our spiritual makeup has been challenged, where we've failed, where we've stumbled, where we've risen, where we've fallen, and all of that is recorded in our bodies, our cells, our energy. You know, it could be different for everyone. But being able to have the skills to identify what is happening when means that we have a lot of power in bringing your current consciousness, like your here and now, bringing all the threads from these past traumas and past collapses and past failures and triumphs, bring them to the here and now. It's that we're trying to find a way to let your body know that those things aren't happening anymore, so that then you can use your voice and you can stand up on stage or make a video and share what you've come here to share. Someone asked a question about, do you think that in the current times that we are in, that our professions, there's a different opinion on our professions? So this is an interesting one, because I made the videos at the beginning of lockdown, or maybe I've made videos about visibility, you know, a year or two ago. And there I'm saying that, you know, in the here and now, we're not going to get killed and persecuted for our beliefs. I don't think we're going to get killed right now or necessarily persecuted, but we are maybe going to be mocked and maybe going to be criticized, ridiculed, and all that kind of stuff today, because there's so much polarization. And it's like, you need to check in with your life journey and where you are, and if this is one of your missions at the moment. I know that being outspoken about everything going on used to be one of my missions, but it certainly isn't now. That's not my job right now. I'm doing something else. So check in, you know, before you put yourself in the crossfire, what you're particularly meant to be doing right now. So yeah, it has changed the perception of ourselves and of what we do in the world. But this is another aspect that I'm coming to with the visibility, is that we have like a species-wide nervous system in a way. We have our individual nervous system, but we have like one that reaches out through our entire species, through our entire history. And the historical ups and downs and shifts and revolutions and movements for our kind of people, the medicine people, the tribal shaman, the priestesses, the wizards, sorcerers, whatever, all of those, you know, just traditional healers. Our history has been difficult and violent and upsetting and fractured. There's a, you know, it's not been an easy history, and I believe, and I definitely feel it with a lot of my clients and in the group work we've done with the Visibility Gateway, is that we have these common between us. It might be in a different body part, but we have memories or sensations of something holding us by the throat. Or I don't know if you saw the article I wrote yesterday that got taken down and then I put it back up and then it appeared again. I don't know. But there was, you know, quite lots of physical torture. Another interesting point is that one of the last participants in the course, she had rather than being tortured, was always running, never settling, because if you were found, so I have memories of always running and not being found out for being a healer or for being a woman or being a woman healer. But I also have memories of being burnt, and I have you know, I've had different contraptions attached to me that have meant that part of my system probably said, I'm never going to do this again. I'm never going to put myself in the firing line, or I'm never going to stand up for these beliefs, because this is what happens when you do. So there's this very colorful history that we have as healers that is still living in our cell memory, in our spiritual lineage, in our consciousness, in our energy. And it can also go right back to out of planet experiences. And also, you know, I think we're all multidimensional travelers here. And that's why when you do traditional marketing courses, that they don't know this bit. So it's very hard. I did expensive marketing courses, and I just ended up feeling very demoralized and not seen or understood, because it felt like my magic was like being sucked out of the language I was supposed to use for my funnel and all this stuff. It became dry, and I became upset and kind of burnt out, and was just like, I don't believe in this. So it didn't work. Like I had a whole thing set up, all professionally done, but the language to me wasn't authentic. My heart wasn't in it. I wasn't in alignment with it. I didn't fit in that structure. That structure didn't fit my work-life balance. So it didn't, like, I've had that experience, and I know how demoralizing it is. And, you know, I think at one point when I just went, that's enough, I think it felt like I could have cracked a bit, because I was, you know, some sort of phone in thing, you know, where they watch your video and then they give you a call, and then it's like a sales call. And I basically was having to run to my calendar to fight to put in a yoga class instead of calls being booked in. And it just didn't work for my life. I had a child, I had other clients and other work I do. It just wasn't going to work. So it was almost like my humanity and my magic and my medicine couldn't come through, but my humanity and my magic were being stripped away. And it just did not feel good. And so this has been like recovering from that, and then building this visibility gateway, so that your magic and your work-life balance can be expressed through whatever it is you create on the Visibility Gateway. So I don't teach a cookie cutter marketing plan. If you don't want a funnel, or if you don't want to do sales calls, or if you don't want to do video, that's cool. But I am going to challenge you to do things maybe that you're thinking you don't want to do and you don't like just because you're afraid of it. That's different. But the whole point of the Visibility Gateway is that you're going to create a plan and a business blueprint that works for you. And that's just like one little element of the visibility gateway. So I'm just going to go back to the complexity of visibility. If there's any blockages or imprints, curses, contracts, vows of silence, any entities or dark forces trying to silence you, because there is a war going on out there. If there's any fragmentation from childhood trauma or any trauma, if there's disassociation, trying to make yourself safe to not be like in your body. If there's any of that, your body will protect you and try and keep you safe. It's very clever. It's not trying to make you fail or look bad or to do terribly on stage or on video. It's not trying to do that. It's actually just saying, you've died from this before, or this is actually dangerous. This was actually very painful. So it's basically doing like a run, fright, freeze, a nervous system, amygdala response, but also like if you feel like you're going to be swallowed up, you know, in the ground, or, you know, you're going to fall into a black hole. That's maybe what you've done before to get out of a situation or come out of your body to survive something uncomfortable. But this doesn't only have to be about abuse or discomfort. It can also be limiting beliefs around money. If you've heard that money is for bad people, or, you know, that kind of limiting belief around money that you heard like your parents maybe say, or the, you know, that money is the root of all evil, that sort of thing, then your body's going to be like, whoa, I don't want to be evil or bad. I don't want money. So a lot of people find that it, you know, there could be fear of visibility, but actually it might come down to the point that you don't want to have money in case it puts you in danger or makes you not good. So there's so many reasons, like so many things that it could be. But sometimes it's also people, ancient medicine, who we were in many lives ago. We wouldn't have to ask for money for our work. We would be fed and looked after and respected, and maybe some exchange would happen, but not this weird money system that we're in today. So there's a lot of blockages with being visible. It could be a money thing. It could be all those blockages, imprints we were talking about. It could be body shame. There's so much pressure that we're putting ourselves under and beating ourselves up, and we don't know how much of it is actually ours. It's other people's words. It's cultural, societal, historical judgment and criticism, and that we're putting ourselves under it. Like that, the perfectionist is doing that too, always measuring up to what some standard is. So it's starting to weed out these thought worms and these stories that are not our own, and these words that are not our own, and really land in our bodies in the center where there's nothing but love and truth and instinct, and clearing away, like not clearing, allowing the body to relax from all those fears and shocks and traumas, so that it can open up and flower and allow inspiration and meaning to come from you as you speak about what you do, because you love what you do. And you wouldn't be doing it if you didn't. You've chosen the hard road. You could have, you know, come out of college and gone and done some job that everyone knows what it is. But no, I think you've been whispered to and called, your spirit has called you into what you do now. And it's, you know, maybe so, I know that my journey here was just like very fantastical and weird and difficult and strange. I'll get there in a minute, but I just wanted to first, when your body is trying to keep you safe and you're trying to share your words and your message, and there's all that fear and stuff, even if you put on a good show and you look the part, you're very prepared, you know, you've got your notes, you know, you're all ready, and that you're, let's say you're really clear about what you're offering and how good you are at it. You know, you're already a master at what you do. You're brilliant. Everyone loves you when they come to see you. But if you're doing a video and people are like, oh, like they scroll past as if you didn't even do anything. Or people, you know, there's 20 flyers and they don't even see yours, even though it's right there and it's the brightest one. Something's going on that is, it's not just the body trying to keep you safe and shutting you down and making you feel weird. It's also carpet bombing people's attention. Like, don't look at her, don't look at her, don't look. So that people don't hear what you're trying to say, or they don't feel what you're trying to say, even if you have it like really clear. It makes people look away. Yeah, so there's that combination of you being unable to show up on some occasions because your body is collapsing from the fears and trying to keep you safe. And then there's also the fact that people can't concentrate on what you're saying. So there's a lot of times where you watch someone's video, hopefully that's not happening for you right now, but when you watch someone's video and you can't hear the words. I don't know if anyone's ever experienced that. And that isn't the fact that they're rubbish at what they do. It's probably that their body is trying to make you look away so that you don't give her money or listen to her or show up as a client, or, you know, just to keep her safe from being visible or successful, all that kind of thing. Yeah, there's the idea, you know, I was saying money, selling, the idea of success can switch people off completely, because if you're successful, you don't have time for your children, or you can't have love. There's a lot of those, you can't have this or that, you know. Psychological reversal, it's called, and conflict, internal conflict about what your desires are and what that might mean for you in the end. All of these things can link into visibility. And that is why I absolutely love the kinesiology aspect. So I'm a certified professional creative kinesiologist. I've kind of gone a little bit on my own way. I still do that, but I have called what I do LEAP kinesiology, love, evolve, align, and purpose kinesiology, because I'm doing group work, which is a bit out there to the creative kinesiologists. So I have had to call it something else just to not freak people out. I'm doing something different. And working the kinesiology, I'm just going to flip the view, but whoever's got their camera on, does anyone not know what kinesiology is? If you put your hand up. Okay, cool. I'll explain it very quickly. So kinesiology is the art of muscle testing. I've studied creative kinesiology because we're actually looking at the human as a 360 multidimensional magical time-space continuum, like whole, like so many hundreds of thousands of layers to each human. And kinesiology is the art of getting a yes and a no from the body. So that yes and no means that you can be like Sherlock Holmes, opening doors and windows into someone's world to find out why something is happening. We always work towards a goal. So let's just say it's safe to be visible. And then we'll test the body. Is this a yes or a no? And you'll say it's safe to be visible, and you'll just melt onto the floor and collapse because you're like, I don't want to be visible. And it's really uncomfortable. And then we can ask the body, so like, what system? Where is this happening for you? Is it the nervous system, the immune system? Is it the emotions? Is it thought? Is it spirit? Is it energy? Is it organs? Is it ancestral? Is it spiritual ancestry? We can ask, is this a thought form, a cultural thought form? You know, is it, you know, we can really find out when something happened, why it happened, how it's affecting your system, how long it's affected your system, how many generations has that affected your family line, for example. You know, we can really build the story about why a certain thing is happening and be very precise. So it is really like going to the bullseye using kinesiology. So we do a bit of talking, but actually don't have to do all that much talking to get to the point exactly when this thing started. So instead of working through the whole history of every time that thing happened, we just go right to the beginning. And actually, it usually has to do with, I call it pouring the love in. It's finding that part of you that didn't feel loved or felt ignored or felt like it had lost something, or is traumatized, stuck in a loop of like for 3,000 years, and then finding a way to let the body know that that's not happening anymore, actually. And maybe even having a conversation with that part of you that was there. And, you know, your job would be to explain that we're in a different world now, in a different space now. And that allows your body to relax into the here and now and stop looping an ancient story that's hurt us over and over again. That's just like one little example. So the kinesiology is incredibly powerful. It's very fast. We can work on so many levels at the same time. And the idea is that we get to this goal that we started with. How can we help your body become okay to be safe and visible? And the kinesiology, again, we ask the body, what does it need to help move this or fix this, or what needs dissolving, or what's our next step? And it could be, I've got thousands of files, techniques, cards, remedies. There's like, my office is like like a 180 of like loads of resources, basically, that your body can go, I need to look at this, I need to shift that, this is an issue, this is what it needs. And it's also very physical based, so we're working energetically and with the consciousness and the emotions, but if the body doesn't get that something shifted, then it's not going to hold and stick as such. So we often do a lot of the kind of 5 elements Chinese, meridian work, just to find a physical area that can anchor in that change and integrate the change. So I think it's absolutely amazing, and I've had amazing results with kinesiology. And then what's different about it in the Visibility Gateway is that I'm working with groups, not one person at a time. And that was the big dream for me, was how can I do, because when you do one-to-one work with people, you probably find that you repeat your magic a lot, with each person that comes in, not the same thing for each person, but you'll see the themes. Oh, I talk about this thing a lot, and visibility was a thing. And I was like, I really want to work in groups, and how am I going to do that? And a couple of experiences happened. Like, I couldn't rush to it. I had to have these experiences where I was emotional support at a festival, and so many people were not in a good place, and I was doing a lot of emotional work for the crew, and I realized that I could help like all of them with some very simple techniques, switching on things and all that. So I asked if I could do a group session, and I ended up doing a group kinesiology session with 28 people. It was intense, and I definitely had to expand my muscle, my power and my energy holding capacity. But that's what I think being a healer and successful is, that you're having to, you expand your power, you get your new lightsaber, and then you have to let your body and everything kind of expand into that new way of being. And then you're able to hold space for more and more people, more clients, or more success with your energy work. So I've gone off on the kinesiology, and then okay, so doing it in the group setting is it's a beautiful thing. So imagine that my skill comes in is that I gather kind of like where everyone's at, and then we create some goals that align for all of us. So obviously in the Visibility Gateway, it's safe to be visible kind of fits for everyone. Or, my expression and my voice is clear and lands with the right people. That kind of works for everyone. Obviously, there's some personal pieces that might become relevant in a session, like, oh, the muscle testing says we need to hear from Moira's experience or from Freya's experience at that particular point. But I trust them muscle testing implicitly, and we work with that. And the group, I teach them all these hand signals so that we can go through things quicker. But yeah, it's amazing how these visibility themes, money, selling, visibility, all that stuff, finding structure and work-life balance, there's very common themes amongst the people that come together for this course, and it's my job to find those common ones. And then we do a group session, just as I would with an individual, but with the whole group. And if you imagine the power of, say, me and a client really wanting to move through this particular issue that she's having, and then suddenly we're doing it with like 12 people, or like I do 2 calls of 12. So it's like 24 people wanting to go in the same direction. It like blows the roof off the things that are holding us back. It's an absolutely beautiful process. There's a lot of tears. There's a lot of aha moments, but most people are sparkling and shining by the end. And sometimes a little bit blown away about how powerfully some of the old blockages have shifted. So that's the kinesiology, why I love kinesiology and what we're doing in a group. But I just wanted to share very quickly. I say quickly, but let's see how that goes. I'm going to share very quickly just my own story, why I'm doing this. And it's not like I just pulled it out of a hat. It's actually because I had to do it for myself. And, you know, I had this like fantastical awakening. It was all very weird and strange. I did a lot of work on myself on my own, coming into alignment, into boundaries, into truth for myself, and then starting to work with a modality. And it's the modality is called aura transformation, which no one had ever heard of. I got absolutely ridiculed. No one, because I used to do such different stuff that when I came out with that, it was just like a joke. But then, you know, I stuck with it and I was courageous and I kept speaking about it and I learned what to do and not to do. And, you know, it's like an incredibly weird thing to be talking about. I was going to like business network meetings and talking about auras and productivity and stuff like that, just because I thought I just kind of got off on it really, that, you know, like the wearing a business suit and having dreadlocks and talking about auras is fun for me. Yeah, so I've had a lot of experience. I think I ended up kind of taking aura transformation. I mean, people were already doing it before me, but not many. But I really took it up and down the country. I did 100 talks a year. I repeated myself so much that that's when it just went like, I need to do video. But I knew, you know, so I'm like, I've built the muscle of public speaking. I was terrified when I started, but then got pretty good at it. Then I traveled the world with it. And then I was like, I am so fed up of talking about the same thing that I really need to make some videos. But my body would do that melting collapse thing. Like, I can't do it. All the voice, you know, I procrastinated, I pushed it away. I avoided it for a really long time. And then I was like, I need to make videos. And I went in like at many angles. And I had like coaching from friends and coaches. I did them crazy expensive marketing courses that left me kind of collapsed and miserable anyway. I had lots of kinesiology because I was studying for 3 years, so I had a lot of work on me about this particular thing, and lots of weird stuff came up for my own reasons for being invisible, for wanting to hide from the camera thing, even though I was fine in public. It's just a funny, I don't, you know, it's hard to remember exactly why the camera thing was particularly bad for me. But once, oh, and then the last bit, so I had all these different elements, and then I did some video challenges. There were small group challenges where there was like 8 of us and we had to share a little video, like little 1-minute videos or something. And then after that, within the 3rd day, they were like, why are you even worried? I was like, kind of like this, you know, just like, ah, la, la. Once the flow was, you know, I cleared that and managed to just do it. And that challenge element meant that I was off then. And then I did like 100-day video every day on your Facebook page, you know, not private videos between people. So I realized the benefits of actually just biting the bullet. And yes, my first video is a bit awkward and a bit funny, but it's not that bad. You know, so obviously you're not maybe going to be amazing on your first video, but you can definitely practice and make it work. So the what I've created, this visibility gateway, is coming from many angles. It's not just like some kinesiology and it's actually I'll say the structure of a week. On the Monday, you get this like recorded videos that I've set up with different themes and ideas, and it's a kind of a mixture of inspiration, tasks, things to think about, things to focus on, you know, like focus down on, like maybe do a mind map, but start aligning yourself with who you want to work with, what you want to do, how you want to do it, think outside the box. So that's the beginning of every week. So there's a different theme. It might be about the money, it might be about the selling, it might be about self-worth, but it's kind of like on a business marketing slant. I kind of trick you over time to come up with like a pretty solid plan by the end. You know, asking clever questions and getting you to dream about different things. So there's that element of it. And that comes out on a Monday. And then on the Tuesday, so you can do that on your own time sort of thing. And on a Tuesday, there's like a laser coaching Q&A call. So you can turn up, it's about an hour and a bit long, and you each have a turn to talk about where you're at, what's challenging, what you need help with. So it's just like an opportunity to kind of let me help you find what's blocking that you can then bring to the kinesiology session, which is on a Thursday, and that's 2 hours on a Thursday. And that's like very reverent, sacred, powerful space. You know, you need to not have distractions if possible. You know, make that time for you. It's special. It's really quite beautiful and amazing. And that's where we really get to the bullseye, really clear, you know, blow the lid off what's been holding us back. And on by the weekend, you have to do a 6-minute video in a secret Facebook group with the group. I keep the group small because I give so much personal time. Like the kinesiology sessions, I don't like doing more than 12 people at 12 in a group. So I have 2 groups of 12. But the reason why I can't have many groups of 12 is because on the Monday, Tuesday, I watch every single video that everyone has posted, and I leave like world-class, stellar, amazing feedback to help you really find what it is that will make you click open all those doors, or the channel, you know, like not the channel, like so that your voice really aligns with who you're talking to. And because of my experience, thousands of hours of experience with personal clients and teaching and all sorts, I think people have said it's invaluable feedback, like that it was just really helped them find what it was that was missing. And I'm not afraid to be honest. I'm not mean. I'm very kind and supportive, but I will say, like, you know, if there's something that's really in the way of you transmitting your magic. And that takes time. Like the Mondays for me are quite exhausting, and I am bringing on help eventually with that, but not just yet. So I keep the groups to no more, like I think 20 is my limit, and then there'll be 2 groups of 10 or 12 and 8 or whatever. All the calls for the US, so Europe gets to choose which side they want to fall on. The 4 o'clock calls are definitely happening, and that's good for the US. If there's enough people that join and some Australians, then we'll have a 10 o'clock call. So both the Tuesday and the Thursday calls will be at 10. The rest is sort of like do it in your own time. And you'll find that in this Facebook group, where there's 20 of you that are in the same boat, that are all freaking out and deeply uncomfortable, but also all together in the kinesiology sessions, you will find an invaluable resource. And it might not be that you're so engaged with the group, but just being seen and heard and validated is an amazing exercise in itself, because you're talking to people. All the people that come to the Visibility Gateway have amazing knowledge and information and wisdom. We're all learning from each other. Each of your 6-minute videos, you know, we learned about so many different fields, and like tantra and, you know, herbology for autistic kids, and, you know, you're just learning the whole time. So it's like fascinating, but to be seen and heard, if you've not allowed yourself to be seen and heard, is a very beautiful thing. And what happens is this incredible transformation. Like from week 1 to week 2 to week 3, people are blown away, not only at their own videos, they're like, oh my God, I look so different. And then other people saying like, oh, I love this about this, and maybe try this next time, or I would have liked to hear more about that. So the feedback isn't just from me. It's like the group just goes crazy on giving feedback to each other, and it's amazing because they're all healers as well. Oh, someone was waiting. Yeah, so there is an amazing, just very supportive, and I don't think you'll find that in any. I'm all over the internet, and as in looking at other people's work, and I haven't seen an online course that covers all these angles with that amount of personal kind of that kind of support. The kinesiology sessions, like that's very in-depth and very personal in that we're in an intimate group, and then that one-to-one feedback on your videos. So I think that it's like it's quite, I was blown away by the first round of the Visibility Gateway. I knew it was good, you know, like I liked it, but the results and the feedback, and again the feedback from the second round as well, was just like crazy. People said it was like the best investment they've ever made. It's been the most transformative thing they've ever done. just that they're making more money, they're being more seen in their relationships, you know, in their communities, not just with their work. So like real different quality to what they're doing, and just even having more clarity on what you're actually saying and doing and how to say it powerfully has been life-changing. So I've been totally impressed with the Visibility Gateway and absolutely love doing it. But it is quite a big commitment from me in terms of energy and time, and I take it very seriously. So there is round 3 coming up on the 28th of September, but round 4 at the moment is going to be 2021. And but depending on like what's happening and how I feel after round 3, I might reassess, and maybe there'll be another one this year, but I don't know. So there's only 20 places on this course, and I think there's only 14 places left on this one. If you've gone to my website and put your email in, not for this, but on my website for the Visibility Gateway, it's with sarahj.com /transform-visibility. I can put it in. Well, see if I can write it down. Everyone. In there you'll find details of like what we're doing and what it's all about and how it works, and the price, and it's $777 for this. It's 6 weeks, but with a 1-week break in the middle by popular demand, because people, like, there was so much happening that they wanted like a bit of space. So it's kind of, I put it in the middle. There's a week of no calls, but it means that you have time to catch up with the tasks, or, you know, whatever you want to do in that time. So I'll just put this anyway. So if you sign up there, if you haven't already, you get about 9 emails from me automatically, you know, over time, and it can just kind of keep you inspired. And there's a bunch of interesting stuff about visibility. There you go. Oh yeah, and if you do join, I do offer some kind of gifts with it. I offer 10% off all of my one-to-one packages, because people do want to go into maybe more sensitive personal stuff. So I offer 10% off that. And if you invite people in, so you know someone that would really benefit from this, and they sign up, you get 50% off my 2-hour sessions. And actually people have asked me, like, don't you think maybe I should just do one-to-one with you? And I have to work out if that is actually the case, or is there fear of not wanting to be seen stopping them from wanting to join a group, and it's like, oh God, videos and all that. But actually I would argue that doing the course, you get so much more than just doing one-to-ones with me. And I would make more money if you all just did one-to-ones with me. But I actually think that all the layers of the Visibility Gateway, you know, you get the price of the course is much cheaper than the same amount of hours of kinesiology you get doing it with me one-to-one. And then there's all the other elements to it. So some people have said it's like 5 courses in one, you know, like marketing, kinesiology, self-empowerment. There's just lots to it, you know, video tips and all that kind of thing. And I forgot to say something, which was that some of the themes that you might have heard me or seen me write about magical marketing. And this is about teaching you how to do marketing on an energetic level. So it's not about putting your posters out or having a marketing plan. It's about working on the etheric, astral energy planes, so that your message is going out to the right people, that you're like a lighthouse to the right people. But you kind of need to know what you're saying and doing, and for who to do that. And then as well, we also look at wealth frequency using the kinesiology. How much money can you actually hold? I'm just saying this because you maybe seen me write about it. Your wealth frequency, if we tested, it'd be like, so is Freya's money frequency, how much money can she hold a month? Oh, it's like £500, which is not enough for her to live on. But it works out that her body starts hemorrhaging money as soon as she hits about that point. So it's almost like the people that go like, I definitely made more money this month, but it's like gone. That is when your wealth frequency which also reflects in your ability to hold space or hold energy for groups or individuals. If we expand that wealth frequency, it means that you can hold more wealth and more money, which means you're not sabotaging money coming in. So I just thought I'd explain that before I stop talking. So yeah, if you do want to join the Visibility Gateway, please write to me. Just let me know what, like what do you offer, what do you want to offer, and where you're at with it, because I have found that for people that really didn't have a clue and maybe never had a client, it actually was a bit too much. I mean, it was still useful, but I think they left sort of swimming with like too many ideas and maybe not as much clarity as they could have had. If you've worked with people, if you've had clients, if you have a practice, if you have a modality you're already sharing, but you want to take it to the next notch, then you've got the experience, and you can learn to listen to your instinct about, this is the kind of person I want to work with, or this is the direction I want to go in. So just putting that there, that it might be better to have a bit of experience with what you're doing. And I don't know if Moira's still here, but is Moira still there? Your microphone's on. Oh, hello. Yeah.
Hi.
You joined in the last round, and it was an amazing group. And you do something quite unconventional, don't you? So maybe share a little bit about what you do and how the Visibility Gateway helps for you. And I'm going to mute myself.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm happy to sort of confirm everything that Sarah's said. It's the most amazing course. I run a small travel company. It's quite a quirky business, and I've always dealt very much one-to-one with customers. I was very, very nervous about the idea of making videos or really expanding that side of my business at all. And somehow, magically, through the course, I sort of came out the other end feeling totally confident. I've been putting videos up on YouTube, had hundreds of views in some cases, and just now feel completely comfortable about it, to the point that I find it difficult to even remember what the issue was, which is extraordinary, because at the beginning, the idea of making a video was just, well, everything that you've described, Sarah, sort of fear, trembling, shaking, feeling unable to talk. So yeah, it's been an absolutely amazing course, and lots of sort of magical moments as well. As you sort of said, the people that you end up working with, everybody supporting each other. I think that's one of the most just one of the best bits of the course, and everybody that was on the course at the same time as me, we've all ended up, as Facebook friends, and we're all sort of supporting each other going forward. We're in the graduate gateway, which is great. So we've still got that ongoing connection and sort of supporting each other going forward. But yeah, a truly amazing course. Bits of it I didn't entirely, like the kinesiology, I didn't necessarily sort of understand what was going on, but I sort of experienced it, and it was wild, and it really worked. So yeah, cheers, Sarah. It was all good.
Thank you, Moira. Yeah, you reminded me that there is the Visibility graduate group where I put everyone once they've come out the other end, so that you can keep that connection. I have noticed everyone writing on each other's posts on Facebook, which is lovely. And I'm wondering, so you've done some videos, and has it created like a new conversation with your clients, or?
Yeah, it has. I mean, one thing that was particularly lovely was when it was sort of, because my customers are all elderly and they're all isolated, and I sent a message out during this, about coronavirus and what we were doing. And a lot of people came back saying they felt really comforted, and it was just so nice to sort of hear me and see me, and it, that really worked. The other thing that I've done is when people contact me for brochures, I now just send a video, which is basically, rather than me having the same sort of 3/4 of an hour conversation again and again and again and again, I just send my video out, and it does it for me, and that's working really well. So yeah,
that's perfect. Yeah. I mean, yeah, because you do sort of like package holidays for elderly people, and you take them on this magical kind of experiences, and they used to be abroad, but now they're kind of UK based, but it gets people out,
Yeah.
gets people meeting, gets people sharing stories. And I remember actually almost, I think it was almost like, well, everyone was tearful when you shared some of the impact that you've created for these people. You know, you were sharing stories, and I think what was going on there, and maybe the tears came not just because of the beauty of what you're doing, but the fact that you reconnected, you know, you're like, why you're doing this to yourself, why are you making yourself make videos, and like you managed to find the purpose in it and kind of just overcome the struggle, and you know, actually be able to reach more people in doing it this way, and yeah, save a lot of time. Oh my god. Yeah, definitely. But it was such a pleasure to have you on, and thank you for coming today. Yeah, thank you. If anyone wants to ask questions or has anything they want to say, I'm going to change I'm just going to mute you, Moira, just so that, and then I don't know if it changes it for you, but it does this end. But now I can see everyone's faces. So if anyone has any questions or wants to know more, please do jump in, wave, or yes, go ahead. Laura, do you want to unmute yourself?
Did you mention when your course started?
Yeah, 28th of September.
Oh, 28th of September.
So that is should be a Monday, but the calls don't actually start till the 29th. Let's double check. Yes. So on the 28th, I put you in the Facebook group, and you can introduce yourselves, and I'll put out the first videos that you can watch. And then the next day is our first call, the 29th. Where are you, Laura? You sound Scottish.
Glasgow.
Glasgow.
Stop the road.
Well, I live in Dunbar now, near Edinburgh.
Seriously?
That's why I'm posting in Scottish groups, because I actually want to meet people that I moved in 3 days before lockdown, and it's been like, hello, all the masked people out there.
Just ask how that went for you, because I know somebody that moved quite, I mean, it was almost like where you are now. They were supposed to be moving up there, suddenly changed their minds and went somewhere else, and like actually they decided to settle where they already were rather than go back to the likes of Dunbar. And because of the lockdown, it actually worked out better. That they found the sliding door closing, and they kind of held back and stayed down in Largs or wherever where they'd already been, and it saved having to actually break in and like sort of meet people and start community. You know,
well, I mean,
like,
I'm very grateful that we actually got into the house just before lockdown,
yeah,
because otherwise we would have been in real trouble. We would have been not in a house. So actually it was amazing that we could actually also hunker down and make it a home. But now it's getting to that point where I'm like, I need humans. Like,
in contact. Yeah. No, I just wondered because this girl actually did say, she said, I'm so glad that I actually stayed put. I mean, no, she did move house, but she stayed in the same zone. Whereas if she'd gone further away, she says, you know, it would have been so hard trying to reconnect with everyone, and you know.
Yeah, it's been a funny old time.
Oh, it certainly has.
Has anyone else want to ask any questions? Yeah, Daniel, hello. Can you unmute yourself?
Yes, I can. Hey, hey, Sarah. Yeah, it's not necessarily a question, but a couple of just things that I've gotten from the call, if that's appropriate,
please.
if that's useful.
Yeah, please.
So I'm really realizing from videos I've been putting on my YouTube channel, and when I go back to watch them, and there's just like a reaction I have, and it's just really given distinctions of like, oh yeah, okay, that's all of the subconscious, the energetic, whatever stuff I'm saying to like, don't see me, don't look at me, etc., etc. So that feels like a really big takeaway. And then there was something around, can't remember how you phrased it, but just a little bit of an aha that I got was like, part of the reason that I don't want to actualize or become maybe who I'm supposed to be is because that is directly linked to what happened to me. So that just feels that was really good. You were saying something about that.
Like you're not wanting to re-traumatize because of an event.
Or almost because part of the reason I was traumatized was because of that. So yeah. So that was linked to something you said. I'm not just taking the opportunity to talk about myself, I promise. But yeah, no. So that's two really good takeaways for me, just in watching the call. So just thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I think there is all that you're saying with the watching videos of yourself and being able to do that, because a lot of people actually can't, certainly in this world. They cannot look at their own videos. It's just awful. So that is a practice that we get into. But I think some of it is also, and I maybe didn't really say a lot about it, is I actually challenge you to talk about what you do in a very different way than you expect. So like, how do you feel if I go, oh yeah, I'm some Technicolor wizard, I'm amazing, I'm a master, just come here, I'm like awesome at this, I'll fix you. That isn't as attractive as someone saying like, I totally get where you're coming from and I understand the sensations that you're going through and the what's happening in the system, and I found a way through. That is a lot more appealing than someone going like, just this. I think I'm saying that because you said I'm not talking about myself, because that is a real thing, is like a lot of people don't know how to talk about what they do in a way that connects with people powerfully. And that's something that we do quite a lot on. But I'm not sure what you were saying with the last bit. Is there like a fear of, we don't need to get into the personal bit, but I'm wondering, are you kind of mentioning that there's a fear that if we went into that stuff, it would be too much?
No, I can't remember what you were saying that made me realize that. But yeah, I just made that connection really. So I got that in
in the
last call of the call, and it felt really useful. So
okay, nice, good.
Yeah,
something to work on.
Yes, ma'am.
Nice to meet you. Where are you?
You too. Exeter.
Oh, I just left there. Well,
Yes.
a year ago.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, you too.
Anybody else have any questions or?
Yes, Sarah, this is Joyce.
Oh, hi, Joyce.
Hi. I'm curious with the kinesiology part, in that I really struggle with trusting that, is this a yes, is this a no kind of thing? And like my solution is a pendulum, and I've been dowsing for 20 years now, and I trust that irrevocably. And so I'm just wondering, is there room for that, or is it not? Is it you doing the kinesiology, or like, does what I do, does me finding my answers fit into that, or is there a way to? I'm not sure what I'm asking.
Okay,
are you
cool. Yeah, so if someone messages me and goes, oh, can you just muscle test this for me? I go, no. Because it's like if someone does a personal session with me and we do the whole session, then I ask questions. When you're grounded, centered in your body, then we ask questions, because then we know what parts we're asking. I found that I used to muscle test like always on myself, and I've stopped doing that because it's pretty useless to me. In that you're walking along and you're like, should I do this or should I do that? And if your system isn't centered, grounded, and you know what you're talking to your highest body wisdom, to your highest intent, all that stuff. If you haven't set that up, you could be just asking your fear, or the part of you that's a bit unconscious, or your subconscious, or your unconscious, or your daddy issues or mummy issues or whatever. So it's like, or the chaos of your day, and you've picked up someone's anger. I don't know. So I have the kinesiology training I did was incredibly extensive, like a degree extensive. It was 3 years, and I think the first half a year you're learning how to get a yes and a no in an appropriate way, and making sure that it's really boundaried and safe and asking the right thing. So I would invite you, if you were interested in doing the course, and if you let me know a little bit more about, in an email about what you do and all that kind of thing, so that we can check if it's the right thing. I would invite you to actually surrender the pendulum to the kinesiology courses, just put it aside so that you can experience moving energy and feeling energy without the pendulum.
Okay.
Because you've been doing it long enough to then now you can probably put that aside. You know, it's like me, I use muscle testing just because it's easy, but sometimes I do just stop and just go, I want to feel that. I want to sense like in my body this yes and no thing. And then the other thing, how do I do it with groups? You know, how do I do it on the internet? That's what everyone asks. Like, how can you do kinesiology? Because, you know, if you were in person, I'd be pressing on your arm, yes and no, or we'd be testing like, you know, different muscles, pushing them in, or like, you know, like doing, oh, what am I doing? It's back to front. But, you know, testing how strong muscles respond to different things. And you can't really do that when you're through Zoom somewhere. So what I've done, and this was trained by the Creative Kinesiology School, is so some people use a pendulum. I use my own fingers. I didn't get on with a pendulum, but basically I surrogacy is a thing. I surrogate my arm for the person's muscles. But what happens, just the way I work, is I can feel like, I almost kind of feel like I don't know, like I'm wearing a kind of energy imprint of the person I'm working with, and I can feel all the things like at the same time as they do. And we both, you know, we can go, oh, like, ooh, that didn't feel good, or that makes me feel sick, or like, what is that? And then over time, I've started picking up, oh, that feels like maybe an ancestral thing, and we'll check it. But then I've got all my files and folders, all the anatomy, physiology, all the trauma response stuff. It's all there at my fingertips that I trust the muscle testing takes me in the right place. And what we do with the group, which is quite interesting, is we don't surrender and morph all our energies into a big pot in a room. That would be kind of uncomfortable. But what we do is like everyone makes sure they stay strongly in their own energy, but we're combining the common threads that we have with the themes that we come up with. And that means that then we can work on those particular themes, and at the end of the session everyone makes sure that they're in their own energy. So it's not mixing energy with people. It's not like that exactly. It's more like threads, stories, and themes. And then some people in very different places in their missions and their life and their healing journey, and whatever it is we're working on, it's almost like everyone holds a magical shard of a broken mirror, and we're learning how to put that mirror back together again, or everyone's holding a particular puzzle piece or different archetypes. Depends on where we're at as a group. But it's fascinating and very interesting. That, I don't know if that answered you and more, maybe?
Yes, no, that was perfect.
Thanks.
I will email you.
Sorry?
I will email you.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And if anyone's on here, if you want to add me on Facebook, that's where I do all my stuff and announcements of things happening, if you want to add me. If you don't have a picture of your face, then I might not add you because I just don't know who it is I'm adding. Bye, Valerie. Thanks for coming. Well, if I don't know if there's any more questions. There was a question from someone. I can't remember it now. It was on an email. I might have to answer it another time. But yeah, please do get in touch. There's only 14 places left on this round. So you might want, and I'm doing another talk on Monday with Bright Sky, which is this hub of practitioners in the UK that help share with each other, but that's about to become live out to the public. So Bright Sky. So they'll introduce a bit about what they do, and then they're interviewing me about Visibility Gateway. And there's 50 odd people signed up for that one. So I'm not playing the scarcity thing, but you know, places might run out on this round. So if you're interested, maybe we can have a chat. I have said no to quite a lot of people just because it wasn't the right time, and maybe 2021 is the better time. Yes, the call is recorded, I hope. Yes, it is. So the next one on Monday is going to be probably similar, but yeah, it's more like an interview thing with the Bright Sky community. So that's another 50 different people that I've never met that will be listening. So do get in touch. Let me know how you're getting on. My email, if you have any questions. If you want to hear about my private sessions, I do packages of kinesiology one-to-one. But if you have visibility issues, I'm going to urge you to go towards the course. Cool. Thank you so much for coming. I really appreciate your time. I hope you got some stuff out of this. Share it with your friends. Join me on Facebook, and yeah, reach out if you want to. Take care, everyone. Bye.